Today we have a special guest in my YouTube channel, Seño Bluemel, Dr. Patel. Welcome.
Very excited to be here today. I appreciate you inviting me to do this.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Can you count in Spanish?
Oh, we're going to start off tough. Okay, let me try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'll stop there.
That's really good.
Thank
That
you.
was really impressive.
Thank you.
What can you say in Spanish?
Okay, let me try this. I'm going back to my high school Spanish classes, okay? No hablo español porque ¿cómo se llama? That's about it.
Yeah.
Like very basic.
That's really good. You say I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
And what's your name?
Yes.
That's
okay.
really good.
Yeah.
And you have a good accent.
Thank you. I'm trying.
What Spanish-speaking countries have you visited?
Actually, I do love traveling. So I've been to Mexico. I've been to Spain. I would love to travel to different countries, but for right now, those are the two Spanish-speaking ones that I've been to.
Tell us about your upbringing.
My upbringing is pretty different and interesting, I think, at least. I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually born in Kenya, which is a small country in East Africa. Was raised there. At the age of 10, we moved to the United States. And we moved to the United States for one reason only, and that was to get a good education. And my parents always said, growing up, that at some point we would move continents so that you can have the best life possible. And you can only get that through a good education. So first 10 years was in Kenya. Then we moved here. We stayed a year in New Jersey, and then the majority of the time in Kansas City, Kansas. And then I moved to St. Louis.
So in those 10 years that you lived in Kenya, tell us about that life there.
Okay. Well, I always, whenever I bring that up, people always joke and they say, were there lions and giraffes in your backyard? And I'm like, no, there weren't. But since my parents knew that, education was so important, like my elementary school was, and even up to 5th grade, it was a British school. So everybody spoke English and they wanted to get us ready for that. And then it was, just like a typical upbringing in terms of, you hang out with your family, you find your friends. One of my favorite memories, though, is my dad would come home from work. He was a lawyer. So he would say, okay, time to get in the car. And at 6 o'clock, we would all get in the car. At 6 o'clock, specifically on Thursday evenings, we would drive like 30 minutes away from our house. And there was a 2-lane highway, and you get on the highway and the traffic would stop right at sunset, and at sunset it would stop because the giraffes are crossing the highway.
Oh, how cool is that?
So that was my favorite thing, and that's why giraffe's my favorite animal.
That's
like
wonderful.
It still is. So we would get out of the car and you could just see, literally, like from here to there, they're crossing the highway.
So what language do you speak at home?
I actually, in Kenya, I used to be able to speak English, obviously. I used to speak their language, Swahili, fluently. And then I used to be able to speak Hindi and Gujarati, which is our native language. So here now, I'm not fluent in Swahili anymore, because once you don't use it, you lose it. So I speak English, obviously, and then I speak Hindi and Gujarati a little still, but my family says please don't speak it because I don't do good. So they always make fun.
So you speak English with your mom and dad when you communicate with them?
Yes, I do, but I try to speak actually in our native language with them, but they always want me to speak in English, so then they speak in English back. So now we just speak in English.
All right. Yeah. What is your favorite thing to do with your family?
I would say traveling. Like we love to travel because it kind of gives us that time away from our busy lives, and you get to experience different cultures and different environments, and we just hang out, play games, and just talk. So, and you get to see new places. So we love to travel.
Who has been the most influential person in your life?
That's a great question. I would have to say my brother. You know, when we moved to the United States, my brother almost became like my dad. So he worked, at one point, he worked 3 to 4 jobs. He went to school, he became a CPA. He's very successful now, but he taught me so many things along the way. So he inspires me to be the best person I can be.
Favorite quote?
I don't know if I have I love quotes. So I have so many quotes that I like. If you look right now on my whiteboard, my quote is, "Your focus determines your reality." So favorite, I think I'm gonna go to my own personal mission statement. I wrote this like a few years back, and it's to elevate others through my actions to help change the world. So I believe in making the people that are surround you better than you could ever be. And if you do that and elevate them, then they'll change the world.
I love it.
Thank you.
Favorite book?
I have 2. Good to Great by Jim Collins, and then Greater Than Yourself.
Sport?
Football.
Food?
French fries. This is like a quick game. I like it.
Movie or TV show?
Oh, right now TV show, I'm watching Stranger Things. Favorite movie would be the Bourne series. Jason Bourne.
Place to visit?
Anywhere in Europe.
Social media platform?
I'm really hooked to Instagram right now.
Podcast?
I would have to say Dr. Bain in our school district has a podcast series that he does, and that would be it.
Who inspires you?
My brother, for sure. You know, again, because of his work ethic, the way he's led his life, and the values and morals he has.
Briefly tell us about your journey in education from student teaching to becoming Fox C-6 Superintendent.
Okay, so when I graduated high school, I wasn't sure exactly. My family told me I had 4 choices. I could be an engineer, doctor, pharmacist. What am I missing? There was one other thing: engineer, doctor, pharmacist, and I don't remember the 4th one anymore. But you know, that was the mindset. So I actually started pharmacy school, worked in a pharmacy at the same time, didn't like it, that was not me. And then I went into nursing, and I got accepted into nursing school, and I said I did not want to do that. And I knew at the end of the day I wanted to get back to education. And so my family supported me in that. I went to the KU, got my degree in education, master's in science education. Then I got my admin certificate from Missouri Baptist and my doctorate at Maryville. Through that time, I was a teacher in Kansas City, Kansas, and then I became an assistant principal, and then an associate principal, building principal, assistant superintendent, and now here as a superintendent. So a lot of different steps there.
How many years do you teach?
I taught 4 years.
And what was the subject?
Actually, I take that back. I taught 3 years in Kansas City, and then 2 years here, so 5.
And what was the subject?
Science, so biology. Yeah.
Do you miss teaching?
Oh, absolutely. But I miss teaching, and that's why I think that whatever I do, like activities or anything, I feel like I'm teaching, but in a different way, and teaching to a different audience.
What has been the most rewarding part of working at Fox School District?
You know, being a part of this community. And I don't say community, I want to rephrase that and say being a part of this family. I truly have felt since day one being here, people have embraced me, they've been kind to me, and at some point, and I hope through my actions, that I give back every day.
What things have impressed you the most when you have visited teachers' classrooms in our district?
How hard they work. No doubt about it. When I go into teachers' classrooms, I can see the engagement with the kids. I can see how much they love them. I can see that they're trying all the new activities, or they're going to professional development, and I can see how much they love our kids, and that's what impresses me.
In your perspective as the new superintendent of Fox School District, what are some of the challenges our schools and community and students face today, and how do you think we can overcome them?
I think for us, a reality is, one of our challenges is to be able to strengthen our financial condition as a district and stabilize it. But even bigger than that, I truly believe that our biggest challenge is the number of kids that come to us with social emotional needs. and the trauma that they experience, and you know, how do we as a district, as a classroom teacher, as a bus driver, you know, as an administrator, how do we cope with that, and how do we help our kids cope with that?
What are your top priorities for our districts?
I would say that my top priorities are my 3 goals that I have established for myself. The first one is to increase collective efficacy as an organization. And you know, some people may not be familiar with that collective efficacy term, but it's basically everybody working together and believing that our kids can excel at whatever they do. And it's that belief that, you know, we talk, we collaborate, and we want the best for kids, and it will happen. So my job, to me, one of my goals is to do that as a district. So from the bus drivers to our kitchen staff to our teachers, administrators, if we all work together, I truly believe we can do that. And that actually is the number 1 indicator of student success based on research. If an organization has that belief, they will impact students more than anything else. So that's one. And then my other priority is to amplify student voice. You know, I feel like our kids are the voice of the district. So let's give them opportunities and let's hear what they have to say. So that's the second. And then the third is to strengthen our financial condition.
As we start a new school year, what advice would you give to administrators, teachers, and students?
I would tell them my best piece of advice would be to come to work every single day, and give it your all in terms of loving our kids. I think that if you love the kids, and the kids know when they walk into that classroom, or they walk onto the bus, or they go to the cafeteria, or the secretaries, if we can send every kid a message that they're important and they belong here, they will work hard for us and they will excel academically. I truly believe that. So my best piece of advice would be to love our kids and take care of them.
What are your goals for our district foreign language program in terms of preparing students more effectively to acquire other languages, understand and embrace other cultures and perspectives?
I do believe that embracing different cultures and exposing our kids to that is vital in today's world. Obviously, you know my history a little bit more. You know, I was exposed to different cultures. I can speak different languages. And I do think that it gives you more an advantage in terms of being able to connect with different individuals. And in today's world with the global perspective and, you know, ability to go to different countries and travel and learn different people, I think that's very important. When I bring it back down to our district, you know, one of the things that we started was our 6th grade transition. One of the key things was to be able to offer Spanish at all our middle schools, so that eventually, if a child is interested in that, they can take it in middle school, go to high school, and even take AP Spanish if they wanted to. You see that vertical alignment. I would love to eventually expand that beyond Spanish.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
maybe bring in French or German, Latin, baby steps obviously.
Right.
But once we solidify our Spanish track, I think we can then add on more. But I am a huge proponent of doing that. And you know, I do think it's important for our kids to be able to understand and relate to all kinds of individuals.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dr. Patel, I have here your mission statement, and it says, every child walks into our buildings with the promise that we will love them, we will care about them, we will serve them, and they will walk out of our district with a well-defined purpose. Why do you choose these statements?
Honestly, it wasn't something that I thought about, you know, and I wrote it down. I remember when I first said that, it was just part of what I was feeling, and I said it, you know, and all of a sudden then it kind of was like, okay, this is what promise and purpose. But to me, I think every time I say it, I mean it in terms of I always try to begin with the end in mind. Our job as a district, pre-K through 12, starting from early childhood, is to make sure our kids go through our schools, and when they leave us, they have a goal, they have a purpose, you know, their end in mind. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be 4-year university, it could be the military, it could be trade school. It's what they choose. But we have to be able to provide them that they can do that. And the only way, in my heart, I believe it is to love them and take care of them. If we do that, and then we can help them find their purpose.
And the last question, what would you like to say to the audience that's watching us?
I would like to thank you for, if you made it through this whole thing, I'm very impressed. So thank you for listening and watching us, and thank you for everything that you do for our students. And if you're not specifically in the district and you're just an educator or someone just watching this channel, you know, just go out there and do your best in anything you do and be passionate and be happy about it. And every day you go to work, it's not going to be work. It's going to be something that you enjoy doing.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye. Adios.